Okay, that.
Mhm.
So I am sure you all recognize Spain. And it's separated by the Pyrenees Mountains from France. So, of course, you know, people invade other people constantly, and then they get invaded through history, and the borders fluctuate. So I'll give you a little thin layer of history of Spain before I start showing you artwork. Prior to the Roman conquest, Spain was inhabited by the Celts, the Iberians, and other cultures such as the Greeks and the Carthaginian and the Phoenician, who had settlement all along the Mediterranean Sea. So a lot of people, a lot of history since the Bronze Age. I am trying to get back. Hold on.
Hey, like the door.
Oh, you know what? I can do this. Got it. Got it. This is a 4th century before Christ. This is called the Lady of Elche. It's a stone bust. It's an Iberian sculpture. It's made of limestone. And it strongly suggests a Greek influence. So the Greek called Spain Iberia. So this is an Iberian sculpture from the 4th century. Then the Roman came and they conquered Iberia and they renamed it Hispania. This is the Merida Bridge from the 2nd century before Christ. But you can see how extraordinary Roman architecture was.
Yeah.
Then the Visigoth came. This is a Visigoth crown from the 7th century. The Visigoth, or the Goth from the west, were a German tribe. They migrated and they occupied the Iberian Peninsula from the 5th century to the 8th century. So for 3 centuries, they were kings of what we call Spain. They call Spain by the name of Carthaginiensis after Carthage. So they changed the name once again. This is the Visigoth king Roderick before the Battle of Guadalete against the Arabs. It's a painting by Bernardo Bianco y Perez from 1871. It's at the Museum del Prado. So in the 8th century, the Islamic and the Arabs conquered most of Spain after crossing the very short Straits of Gibraltar. So medieval Spain was a constant battle between the Muslim and Christian Spain. This is the Alhambra. Alhambra means the red one. This is the Muslim palace in Granada, Andalusia. So this, let's say half of Spain for 2 centuries was conquered by the Arabs. This is the inside of the Alhambra. So you can see the Muslim influence. Isn't that amazing? In the Middle Age, in the 15th century, the 3 most important kingdoms in Spain were the Kingdom of Portugal, Castile in the middle, and in yellow, the Kingdom of Aragon. That's how it was divided, 3 kingdoms. But Isabella, who was Queen of Castile, and Ferdinand, who was King of Aragon, are going to be married, and they're going to rule Spain and expel the Arabs, the Arab invaders. This is King Ferdinand of Aragon. He is nicknamed the Catholic. It's an oil painting by Michael Cito from the 15th century. Michael Cito was a court painter from Estonia. He was born in 1452. So as the husband of Isabella of Castile, Ferdinand II of Aragon became king of Castile and also de facto king of Spain. This is Queen Isabella of Castile. I would marry her in a heartbeat. She's just lovely.
It looks fun.
I know. This is an oil on panel from 1451. It is at the Museum del Prado in Madrid. It's an anonymous painter. And this is a more flattering portrait of her. It was made a year later.
Seriously?
It also is anonymous. It's in the Royal Collection of England.
They both look like each other, so I
Yeah.
guess that's
Mhm.
how she looked.
This is an anonymous painting. It's called Madonna of the Catholic Monarch, and you can see Isabella and Ferdinand of Castile and Aragon. They're the two people kneeling in the foreground, the couple. It's a 48 by 44 painting on a wood panel. It's very, very rich.
So were they.
This is a print of Valladolid that was made in 1572. Valladolid was the seat of the government. And the gentleman that did this, print was George Braun. He was a German cartographer born in 1451. So the 16th century saw Spain and Portugal become major empires with a discovery and exploitation of the American continent with Columbus, Cortes, and many other conquistadors. So Columbus is depicted landing in the West Indies, and he's carrying the flag of Ferdinand and Isabella of Spain. So under the guise of religion, they brought a lot of wealth to Spain. But in the 16th and the 17th century, not long after, a century after that, Spain became part of the Habsburg Empire, which was based in Austria and the German Holy Roman Empire. So you can see that empire had little possession a little bit all over the place, which of course would become very impossible to defend in the future. So it's ruled then by the Holy Roman Empire and the Habsburg dynasty, who also ruled Holland, Burgundy, and Austria. This is Charles V of Spain. He's known as the Holy Roman Empire. This is at the Museum del Prado. It's a large painting of 72 inches. He was born in Belgium, but he becomes king of Spain. Of course, doesn't speak a word of Spanish. He's also, beside being the Holy Roman Emperor, is the Archduke of Austria, is the Lord of the Netherlands, is the King of Italy, and the Duke of Burgundy, and there is more. As Voltaire wrote, the Holy Roman Empire was not holy, it was not Roman, it was not much of an empire. This is the same Charles V of Spain. This is a painting by the Italian artist Titian. So Charles V, the Holy Roman Empire, was married to Isabella of Portugal. So by doing that, he brought Portugal to Spain. Just like that. You married someone and you became the owner of the possession. This is a less flattering portrait of Charles V, Holy Roman Empire. It's a Flemish school. This is painted in 1514.
So why the big difference?
Different artist,
Okay, interpretive?
certainly.
Okay,
They all had the Habsburg jaw,
well,
which is prognatism,
Yeah.
where the lower jaw is
yeah,
facing forward. So that's typical of the Habsburgs. That's called prognatism.
thank you, Howard.
I think this painter probably just didn't have any interest in flattering him.
Yeah,
so he
that's right.
painted it more as it was.
Yeah, I don't think the Flemish were big fans.
I think it's quite a striking painting, nevertheless.
Mhm.
A little bit later in the 16th century, there was a famous battle, a naval engagement in 1571 between Spain. It was held by Venice and the Pope against the Turks, the Ottoman Turks. So this is the Battle of Lepanto. It's we do not know who painted this.
Jeez, it's amazing.
This is a different version of the same battle. This is by Giorgio Vasari, famous Italian Renaissance painter who was born in Tuscany in 1511. He was, for this painting, the Battle of Lepanto, he was commissioned by the Pope to commemorate the event. This was Christianity defeating the Turks. Another century later, Spain became ruled by the French family of the Bourbon in the 18th century, when the French prince, who was the grandson of Louis XIV, the Sun King, became ruler of Spain. So until the French Revolution, Spain was ruled by a French family. This is Philip V, King of Spain. It's an oil on canvas that is also at the Museum del Prado. So as you have gathered, Spain is a very Catholic country. This is a hanging crucifix from 1150. You could see it on both sides. This is an artist called Bernat Martorell. This is a famous legend called St. George Killing the Dragon. It's a tempera and oil panel that is at the Art Institute of Chicago. And the artist, Brent Martorell, was a leading painter and a manuscript illustrator in Barcelona, where he died in 1452. By the same artist, this is Saint Michael Martyrdom of Saint Eulalia and Saint Catherine. It's tempera and gold leaf and panels. For those who don't know what tempera is, it's pigment, but instead of using oil, you're using egg yolk. That's tempera. So this is a large painting, 74 inches wide, and you can see the gold leaf.
Nasty stuff. But
Another artist of the era is Juan Rexach, R-E-X-A-C-H. This is an altarpiece. It's a triptych, meaning 3 panels, and this is, of course, the Virgin and Child. Juan Rexach was a Spanish painter who was born in 1431, and he worked on many, many altarpieces. This is another of his piece. This is Saint Margaret and the Dragon from 1456. It's tempera, oil, and gold leaf. This is Bartolomé Bermejo. This is the retablo of the Virgin of Montserrat. It's a triptych from 1485. It's made in oil and it's 62 inches, and you can see the panel fold. So you can take it, you can take the altarpiece and bring it somewhere else.
Oh, fold it.
This is a 15th century oil on panel called St. George Killing the Dragon. So in
The dragons are getting smaller as time goes on.
in the legend of St. George Killing the Dragon, it's a famous legend, and the story goes that a soldier defeats a dragon. The dragon originally extorted tribute from villagers, but when they ran out of trinkets for the dragon, they started giving human tribute once a year, and that was fine until a princess was chosen as the next offering. So St. George rescued the princess and killed the dragon.
That's interesting.
the pyramid shape is in the back.
Okay. Never heard that.
This is an extraordinary painting, Ferdinand Calejo, La Piedad, the PD, P-I-D-P-A-T. It's at the Museum del Prado. It's very striking.
These paintings.
We were there. Uh-uh.
Like less important people are smaller.
Yes.
Same artist, Ferdinand Calejo. This is the Blessing Christ. The orange and reds are so beautiful.
Tempera also,
What's that? Same artist,
tempera,
Ferdinand Calejo.
tempera.
No, this is oil.
And did you say tempera was egg yolk or egg white?
Yeah, instead with watercolor you use pigment and water. With acrylic you use pigment and water. With oil you use pigment and oil. With tempera you add egg yolk,
Egg yolk or egg white?
the white of the eggs.
The white,
Yeah,
yeah, not egg yolk.
I don't cook very often, Howard.
Oh, as in, to find it.
Let me find the next picture. Oop. This is Fernando Llanes de la Almedina, and this is Saint Catherine of Alexandria. It's painted in 1510, and it's at the Del Prado Museum. She was a Christian martyr. This painter, Fernando de la Almedina, was a Renaissance painter. He traveled to Italy, and you can see Leonardo da Vinci influence in his work. Very, very smooth blending. Another of his famous piece is the head of Christ. It's an oil on poplar wood that measures 16 by 12 inches. It is actually at the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
His eyes move.
In the halo thing.
I'll show you a little corner of the frame, because the frame has character, does it not? This is one.
Is that type treatment from the period?
I'm sorry?
Is the type treatment on the frame from the same period?
Yeah, it's the original frame. Yeah. This is Juan de Flandes, Michael the Archangel, and Saint Francis. It's oil and gold leaf. It's also at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Juan de Flandes was a Flemish painter who resided in Spain. So he was an artist at the court of Isabella I of Castile. And he mostly painted portraits of the royal family and small panels for altarpieces. So he painted Juan de Flandes. This is the artist. This is Catherine of Aragon. She's the daughter of the people we just spoke of, Isabella I of Castile and Ferdinand of Aragon. So at 3 years old, she married Prince Arthur, the heir to the English throne, before becoming Princess of Wales. But he died a few months later. She then became the wife of his brother, who turned out to be Henry VIII of England until their annulment. So she was a lucky woman. Her marriage with Henry VIII of England was annulled. This is a painting of her sister. This is, before was Catherine of Aragon. This is Johann of Castile. It's an oil on panel. She was another daughter, and she was to become Queen of Castile and Aragon. I'm admitting someone. Well, sorry for the glare, but that's the best I could get. This is part of a triptych, and you can see it has to do with the legend and the dragon. But I love the way the armor is painted.
The dragon is so sad.
I know.
He has a human face.
He does.
Very funny.
He does. This is Juan Correa de Vivar. This is called the Annunciation. It's a 90 inches tall painting, so you have to realize the size of it. You know, it's huge, huge painting. This painter was born in the town of Mascaraque in Castile in 1510, and he was influenced by the Italian painter Raphael. He was married, he was a religious man. We know that on his testament, he left his possession between his nephew and the church. Yeah. This is one of two anonymous pictures of a saint from the 16th century. We don't know who painted that pair. These are the infants, Isabel and Catalina. They were the daughters of Isabel and Philip II of Spain. This is a painting by Alonso Sanchez Coelho. He was a Spanish Renaissance painter born near Valencia, and he became a court painter to the court of Portugal and Spain. This is his painting of Philip II of Spain, all on canvas.
Famous painting.
So Philip II of Spain was king of Spain. He was king of Portugal. He was king of Naples, king of Sicily. He was Duke of Milan. He was lord of the 17 provinces of the Netherlands, and that's only naming a few. Same artist, Alonso Sanchez Coelho. This is Juana de Austria, Habsburg Empire. She is also Princess of Portugal. She was the sister of Philip II of Spain, and she's the daughter of Charles V, the Holy Roman Empire. It's quite a beautiful painting. This is same artist, Alonso Sanchez Coelho. This is Alberto VII. He was the son of the Holy Roman Emperor.
Just think. Well, I was just thinking.
So you guys have noticed something by now, right? There's something protruding. Well, it's called, you find it in a lot of paintings of the 16th and 15th century. It's called a cod piece, and it's a covering flap that encloses the genital areas. And it was an important fashion item of European clothing during 15th and 16th century. I would be arrested if I wore that today. Right?
Yeah.
Depends on where.
Yeah.
San Francisco? No.
I mean, I look at the canyons, which are the puffy
Yeah.
shorts, and I'm just thinking, that's some fashion hit rock bottom.
This is same artist.
Works.
This is Anne of Austria. She's Queen of Spain,
Huh.
and she was the daughter of Philip III of Spain, and she's going to become Queen of France when she married Louis XIII in 1615.
Wow.
This is her again, about 4 years later, Anne of Austria. This is at the Art Museum in Vienna. So of course, it is sad that I cannot show you ordinary people, but ordinary people did not have their portrait made.
Christian, is the reason that so many of the ladies have one glove on is to show off the glove, but also show off the jewelry on the other hand?
Interesting question.
I don't know, maybe Howard knows, I do not know. I think it's just a fashion, it's elegant that way.
Michael Jackson, that's where he got it.
Probably. Probably. This is the Infanta, meaning she will become queen. Isabel Clara Eugenia, she was the daughter of Philip II of Spain. Same artist, this is at the Museum del Prado. Again, you know, I admire the clothes. The clothing is really beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
A different artist, this is Juan Pantoja de la Cruz. This is a portrait of a lady called Doña Ana de Velasco y Gijon. She was the Duchess of Braganza.
You there.
The Knoll on canvas. She was the mother of John IV of Portugal.
We've already, he's already. It's a given.
You know, I would be arrested too if I was to wear that.
The lion.
Same artist, this is Don Juan of Austria, 16th century, and it measures 88 inches tall, so an immense painting. You see the lion and it's a wild, wild painting.
The metal.
Mhm.
It's amazing.
The dagger for the shorts there.
Yeah.
Same artist, this is King Philip of Spain and his sister Anna.
Wonder what.
And that's later. And separate. Yeah.
Oh,
Check out this painting.
is
This
that
is
armor?
Philip IV of Spain. It's painted by Gaspar de Grayer. He was a Flemish court painter at the Spanish court.
Habsburg chin again.
Whoa,
Is that outrageous?
Armor is just.
my God,
The
Yeah.
it is armor.
you know, it's shocking, but the way it's painted is extraordinary.
Yes.
It's
Display
Yeah, it's not
armor.
useful armor, it's just
No.
for show. It's like the equivalent of your dress uniform.
Notice they all had the same Habsburg face.
Mhm.
so in 1588,
But
Catholic Spain decided to invade England, who was Protestant. So they sent what was thought to be the Invincible Armada. This is in the 16th century in 1588. So for sure they knew they were going to win, because the Spanish Armada was a Spanish fleet of almost 200 ships, and they would fail to invade England and they had to return all the way around Scotland. So this is the Spanish Armada off the British coast. It's a painting by Cornelis Claes von Veringen, is a Flemish painter. This is painted in 1620. And this is the Battle of Gravelines. It's a battle where the Spanish Armada lost a lot of ships. This is by a French painter called Nicolas Hillard. And this is the route that the Spanish Armada had to take back. Instead of invading England, they had to go all the way around Scotland to reach the Atlantic.
Some of them go right on the coast of Ireland.
A very famous painter is El Greco. El Greco was born Dominikos Theokopoulos. El Greco means the Greek. He was a Greek painter of the Spanish Renaissance. This is called Laocoon. Laocoon was a Trojan priest. He was killed by his sons by two sea serpents after warning the Trojans against the wooden horse. This is a very famous painting of El Greco. This is the burial of the Count of Orgaz. It's 16 feet by 12 feet. So a huge painting. It was inspired by a legend of the 14th century. In the legend, in 1323, Saint Stephen and Saint Augustine appeared at the Count Orgaz burial, and they buried him with their own hands. This is my favorite painting by El Greco. This is a view of the town of Toledo. It's also at the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
there's several. Music.
I love this landscape. And he, of course, had to do some religious painting, but with a very unique style. This is Christ on the cross. It's painting in exactly 1600. And it's an oil on canvas measuring almost 8 feet.
Yeah.
This is El Greco. This is San Francis receiving the stigma. The stigma are the body marks or the scars that correspond to those of Jesus when he was crucified. This is a very unique painting in the history of art and certainly the history of Spain. This is called The Bearded Lady by Giuseppe de Ribera. And the painting displays Magdalena Ventura. She's standing next to her husband while nursing her baby. And on the stone to her left, it's written that at the time of the painting, she was 52 and she started growing facial hair. And the Duke of Alcala wanted to commission the painting based on the rumors he had heard about her. So the painting he had was part of a gallery of portraits of people deemed unusual, such as dwarf and people that had club foot or different abnormality. Oops, I jumped here. This is Francisco de Zubarán. This is the defense of the town of Cadiz against the English fleet, painted in 1635. It is 10 feet by 10 feet. Francisco de Zubarán was a painter to Philip IV of Spain. And I will spare you the view of his painting because they're all like that. Huge painting of monks. They're very well painted, you know, but they're not the most exciting painting to show. So it suffices that you see, you know, just you get the idea.
It's another monk. It's another monk.
You get it.
Monks.
This is not my favorite painting, but it is a very famous painting by Bartolomé Esteban Murillo. It's called The Young Beggar, and it is in the Louvre in Paris. Now, this is Diego Velázquez, and you must have heard his name. This is a self-portrait from 1650. He was a leading artist at the court of Philip IV of Spain and Portugal. So he did a lot of renditions of scenes of historical scene. He painted a lot of portraits of the Spanish royal family. But his masterpiece is called Las Meninas. This is Las Meninas.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So in this painting, it measures 11 by 11 feet. It's a huge painting. And you can see the 5-year-old Infanta Margaret Teresa. You see a small girl in the middle. She is surrounded by her entourage. There is a chaperone, there's a bodyguard, there's 2 dwarfs, there's a dog, and behind them, Velázquez is painting, is working on a large canvas.
This is a brilliant, we saw this.
Here.
Brilliant,
Yeah.
thrilling to see Las Meninas.
Las Meninas. This is the house where Diego Velázquez was born in 1599.
Wow.
Diego Velázquez painted this. This is the Surrender of Breda. This is Justin of Nassau, thus in Holland. The Netherlands became part of the Habsburg Empire, and he was ruled by the King of Spain. So they surrendered here to the Spanish troops. This is Diego Velázquez, Maria Ana of Spain and Austria. It's 24 by 17 at the Museum of Del Prado. Maria Ana of Spain was Holy Roman Empress. She was the Queen of Hungary. She was the Queen of Bohemia. And because she married Ferdinand III, she became the Holy Roman Empress. Kept adding title.
Very different.
This is an unusual painting. This is by a Spanish painter called Antonio Canicero. And it's the ascent in a Montgolfier balloon. The Montgolfier brothers were 2 French people interested in aviation, and they were the first to create a balloon that took off safely. So they invented this thing called the Montgolfier. It's a hot air balloon, and it's the first time that there was a confirmed flight by human. So this is a demonstration in the city of Aranjuez in Spain.
Eggs that we made for the Russian czars.
It's a moment in time, is it not? A very different artist. This is Zacarias González Velázquez. It's a self-portrait. He was a Spanish painter born in 1763, and he's known mostly for his portrait and religious work. This is a painting of his daughter. Her name is Manuela. And I found that painting exquisite. The colors are just,
Bolt your dress, yeah.
Empire of the East.
Mhm.
this is another painting of a little girl. It's a little bit Shirley Temple, but I still like the colors.
They smile.
Here, this is not a great painting, but it's still Velázquez, but this is a man embracing another man who has leprosis, who killed, it killed a lot of people in the Middle Ages.
Saints.
This is a painting by same artist, Zacarias Velázquez. This is a painting of his father. It's at the Museum del Prado. So now I get to my favorite, who is Anton Raphael Mengs. He was a German artist, but he was active in Madrid for many decades. This is the Marquesa del Llano. Her name is Doña Isabel de Pareno y Arce. They have beautiful names. This is Maria Luisa of Spain. It's at the Art Museum in Vienna. She was born in 1745 and she became Holy Roman Empire Empress. She became Queen of Germany, Queen of Bohemia, Queen of Hungary, and Grand Duchess of Tuscany. Isn't that funny? But she does look like a nice woman. This painting is really extraordinary because this is the father of Napoleon. It's a painting by Anton Raphael Mengs. It's Charles-Marie Bonaparte. This artist is Vicente Lopez Portana. This is a painting of Maria Isabel of Portugal. It's an oil and canvas. And the artist was born in 1772 in the town of Valencia, and he's considered the best portrait painter of his time.
These are amazing. Look at the pearls.
I love this painting. Her expression is so unlike all the stiff features of the era. It's very sensual and lively.
Done.
This is same artist, Vicente Lopez Portana. This is Doña Francisca de la Gándara y Cardona. I like saying that. Good practice for my Spanish. It's an exquisite painting.
It is.
If you look at it closely, it's numbing to realize you can paint this.
Absolutely numbing that you can paint it.
The velvet
That's right.
sofa.
Look at the different colors in the wall.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Look how rich the background is.
Yeah.
It's better than a photograph, you know? Imagine you can paint that, but you're not looking at photograph when you're painting it. You're just doing sketches, you know? This is a portrait of Felix Maximo Lopez. He was a well-known Spanish composer. Same artist, Vicente Portana. And the last work of Portana is this one. It's an interesting painting because this is a portrait of Goya. Francisco Goya, probably the most famous Spanish artist. So Vicente Lopez Portana painted a portrait of Goya when he visited him at the court in Bordeaux. But Goya was then 80 years old and he would die 2 years later. And it was said that Goya got bored posing for his colleague. Can you imagine that?
Bet.
This is the house where Goya was born.
Wow.
This is a self-portrait of Goya
Mm.
It's Tipper.
in a traditional, look like a Catalan costume. I remember growing up with this piece. My mom had a lot of art books.
Yes, there it is.
She had books of Van Gogh, she had book of Goya. And this is a very striking picture. It's called the 3rd of May. Napoleon occupied Spain, and Goya commemorated the occupation and the Spanish resistance by creating this painting. So it shows, the horrors of war and the execution by the French of Spanish resistance. Very powerful piece. This is an unusual painting by Goya. I found it, I didn't know he had painted a portrait like that. This is a lady called what's her name? Oh, sorry, portrait of Doña Antonio Zarate. Quite elegant. I'll show you just one painting of this artist. I don't know why I like it, but it looks so dimensional. It's such an unusual way to paint a horse.
It's very tight.
It's a painting by José de Madrazo y Agudo. It's a painting of Fernando VII of Spain. It measures 12 feet high. It's at the Museum del Prado.
Mhm.
Now we get to my favorite painter, but I won't show you his favorite painting just yet. His name is Federico di Madresi y Kunz, and he was born in 1815. He was the son of a painter who was the director of the Museum del Prado. So this is Federico de Madresi y Kunz, and it shows the Battle of Cerignola against the French army. And in this painting, Gonzalo Fernandez de Cordoba, the man on his horse, he finds the corpse of Louis d'Armagnac, a French noble that has fallen. So this is the Middle Ages and times of the chivalry. But let's go to great painting. This is Federico de Madrazo y Kunz. This is one of my favorite paintings. This is Amalia del Llano y Dodres. She was the Countess of Vilches. It's a large painting. It is at the Museum del Prado. Isn't she beautiful?
Beautiful. And the chair is beautiful.
I love her
Wow.
smile.
There's just something, the sensuality of her look. It's stunning. She was Amalia del Llano, the lady you're looking at. She was a Spanish countess and a writer, and she was actually an important figure in the life of Madrid in the 19th century. And she was also by marriage Countess of Vilches and Viscountess of La Cervanta.
Chair too.
Yeah.
I love those titles. This is same artist, Federico di Madrazo y Kunz. This is Louise de Bourbon. She was the Duchess of Montpensier, and she's part of the French dynasty, Bourbon dynasty, and she became Queen of Spain. This is 90 inches. Again, a very large masterpiece. An unusual painting for him. This is the Three Marys and the Tomb of Christ. This painting is in a convent, but it has really amazing light.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thick and black and black.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Dickens was an amazing portrait painter, and I just admire his painting of women.
Shape, yeah.
This is Princess Eugenie. She became the spouse of Napoleon III. The dress is exquisite.
What a dress.
It just
Mm.
how you can show transparency and reflection. It's just absolutely beautiful. This is same artist. This is his painting of an American. She was the wife of an American representative. Her name is Elizabeth Weathered Barringer. Federico E. Kunz. This is Concepción Remisa de Moret. It's at the Museum del Prado. She was the wife of a Spanish writer and politician. It's such a powerful painting. Her look. And the next one is even more striking. Look at this look. This is Maria Dolores de Almada y Alfonso. She was the Marquesa de Montello. Am I right?
That's through a wall.
Isn't that beautiful?
Looks like she's arguing. Why she's saying hurry up.
This is Maria Dolores de Almada y Alfonso.
Yeah.
It's an oil and canvas
Hmm.
at the Museum del Prado. The colors of the dress are so pretty. And you see her, how he managed to show how clear her eyes are. She has very light eyes. And the last painting of this artist, this is Leocadia Zamora y Quesada. It's in a private collection. It's exquisite. It looked like the work of the French painter Ingres. It's absolutely smooth. And the fold are just incredible.
It's amazing to be able to paint like that without a photograph to hold the fold still.
It is amazing to be able to paint like that, certainly. I'll show you only one landscape, but I didn't know where to put it in the lecture. I had, it fit nothing, and I saw no landscape of Spanish art that were really good. So this is the only one that I really, really enjoyed.
Is that the Pyrenees? Is it the Pyrenees?
No, hold on, I'm looking. No, it's called the Canal de Mancolbo and Los Picos de Europa. It's a mountain. I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
This is a Spanish painter known for his realistic landscape. It's quite beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
Very different painter, Antonio Gisbert. He was a realist and romantic painter born in 1834. He was director of the Prado Museum in Madrid, and he died in Paris. This is the Mayflower Pilgrims landing.
Just how I imagine. They look so clean.
So he painted a lot of historical scene. This is the summit of Ferdinand IV to the Parliament of Valladolid. But his last painting, at least the last I'm going to show you, is a very impressive painting. This is the execution by firing squad of Torrijos and his companion on the beach of Malagas. The Count of Torrijos was a Spanish liberal general, and he was executed on the order of Ferdinand VII. But there's a sobriety and a realism to this painting that is just striking.
Yeah, you don't usually see the aftermath of the executions, just getting ready. With the.
Well, these guys are getting ready too. They're all gonna be killed. But the expression feels so real.
Yeah.
There's no sensationalism. It's not romanticized. It feels so sad because it's so real. A very different painter from 1877. This is Francisco Pradilla Ortiz. This is a huge painting, 16 feet wide. It's at the Museum del Prado, and it's Dona Juana. She was Queen of Castile, and she's holding vigil over the coffin of her husband, Philip the Handsome.
Field.
Same artist, Francisco Padilla Ortiz. This is the capitulation of Granada. This is where Mohammed the 12th is the last Muslim king of Granada, is surrendering to Isabella and Ferdinand of Aragon. You remember last week you were asking me how long it took for someone to paint large-scale painting, and I told you 3 years, 2 years. This
Yeah.
one took 3 years to do.
Yeah.
So it's an enormous undertaking.
See one.
A very different artist. I only found one work of his that I wanted to show you. This is called Shipwreck by Joaquin Barbara y Balsa. He was a painter born in Liodo in Cantabria. This is the artist Antonio Filiol Granel. This is the glory of a man returning to his village. So this artist was a social realist painter born in Valencia in 1870. And the next two pieces I'm going to show you, I particularly love because they have something very strong to say,
Wow.
though not necessarily liked by many people. This is called a satire. It's a scene depicting child molestation, a painting that was severely criticized and branded immoral by Catholic Spain. I mean, who approaches a subject like that in the 19th century? So I really admire that. And it's very, very realistic. The next painting is of the same vein. This is a powerful scene of silence and acceptance depicting prostitution. It's called The Human Beast. I don't know what compels someone to paint something like that, but beside the social content, it's extraordinary painting. You feel like you're in a theater, you can feel the scene. There's no word, yet it's self-explanatory. The man did his thing, and now she's crying and he's having a cigarette. This is called, same artist, called After the Fight by Antonio Filiol Granel. It's very sober and minimalist, but it's a powerful evocation.
Rain.
I'm gonna leave you with 3 happy paintings, because you guys deserve that. The title is not indicative of happiness. The title is Over My Dead Body. It's a painter called Ramon Casas, painted in 1893.
Oh, 1893.
Oh, she's cute.
And I'm going to leave you with 2 very Spanish paintings.
It's a photograph.
This is a painting by Urquiola Aguayo Eduardo. This is called Las Presidentas. Las Presidentas were women that formed the entourage of the president of a bullfight. I like this painting because you really know you're in Spain. This is a very
Parade through the streets with the mantillas.
Place.
I'd rather face the bull than them.
And the last painting I'm going to show you is very Spanish. This is called The Spanish Wedding. It's an oil on panel painted by Maria Fortuny, who was a famous painter of his day from Catalonia. It feels very Spanish, doesn't it?
Mm.